How long does it take to raise startup funding? Raising startup funding takes longer than it should because most startup CEOs are unprepared when they start raising funding. I know I was. The result is that you struggle to get meetings, and the meetings you get don't go anywhere. I want you to be able to hit the ground running so you can raise your funding in half the time. That's what today's video is all about. In today's video, I'll share with you 10 tips on how to raise your funding fast without cutting any corners. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. And let's start with number 1 on our list. Number 1, do your research. It blows my mind how many CEOs don't understand that not all investors are created equally. In other words, a late stage investor isn't going to invest in your early stage startup. Nor is an investor that only invests in medical devices going to invest in your fintech startup. Nor is an investor that invests only in the Silicon Valley going to invest in your startup based in the UK. The answer is you need to build a list of investors that will invest in the stage your company is at and the type of company you are trying to build and in the region your company is in. The good news is you can build a list of potential investors using a tool like Crunchbase.com. Next, let's move to number 2 on our list. Number 2, make the numbers work for you. Here's one of the most mind-blowing things I learned as an EIR at Crosslink Capital. The typical VC partner invests in just one company out of every 100 startups they meet with. 1 in 100. That's not an exaggeration. That's how selective this game is. So, what does that mean for you? It means you need to make the numbers work for you. Build a list of 100 qualified investors, not 15, not 30, 100. And they all need to be capable of investing at your stage, in your sector, and in your geography. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Next, let's move to number 3 on the list. Number 3, reduce the risk. Startups, by their very nature, are fragile. It doesn't take much for a startup on its way to success to reverse course and fail. Investors know this way better than you do. So, your job is to reduce as much of the risk as possible for investors. The good news is that risk reduction is in your best interest too, because it improves your odds of success. Let me give you 3 things you can do to reduce investor risk and your risk. The first thing you can do is have a team. The team needs to be well qualified and passionate about what you're doing. Even if you're a solo founder, you need to recruit a team in waiting. This is what Ray did to raise his initial $6 million in funding. And you should be open to adding founders and other team members at any time because a great team is a good thing. Make that a great thing. Investors know you can recruit and you have a team capable of developing your product or service. Second, make as much progress to show you can create your product or service as possible. Ray proved he could develop his hardware product using software. Third, get as much traction as you can as quickly as you can. Traction is revenue. Paying customers is proof you're onto something. Be creative. See if you can get customers to prepay if possible. You'll be amazed what customers will do. Next, let's move to number 4 on my list. Number 4, create your pitch. Your pitch needs to be good right at the start or it will be difficult to raise money. My first pitch deck was horrible, by the way. Any investor that saw that first pitch deck wasn't going to invest. You want to pick your deck apart so it's really good, so you don't have any wasted meetings. And, shameless pitch here, don't be afraid to get outside help if you need to. I have a service that can help you develop an awesome pitch and pitch deck for a very reasonable price. Next, let's move to number 5 on the list. Number 5, pick your presenters. One of the worst pitches I ever saw when I was in EIR was when a CEO brought his team of 8, count them, 8 executives to a presentation to the full partnership. As was Crosslink's practice, a partner asked the CEO to introduce the team. Each member of the team then introduced themselves. I'm not kidding here, but 15 minutes later, they were done with the introductions. The partners were all thumbing through their phones. Needless to say, we didn't invest. Here's the deal. You should only bring people that are going to actively participate in the meeting. That's likely only one other founder. For example, if you're the business expert, then bring the technical founder. Now let's move to number 6 on the list. Number six, rehearse. Seriously, you should know the pitch inside and out so you're not just reading from slides. Another story from my Crosslink days. We met with the CEO of a startup to hear his pitch. He started the meeting by fumbling through his slides for a couple minutes. Then he said, "Here's a slide that might work." The rest of the meeting was completely disjointed. Yet again, we didn't invest. The antidote is rehearse your pitch. This doesn't mean you are scripted. This does mean that you know the material inside and out. So, you are adding significant understanding and value to your investor's understanding. Remember, a large part of an investor's decision is to invest based on their belief in you. To continue building investor trust, you need to master number 7 on our list. Number 7, practice answering questions. You and your co-founder should know the weaknesses in your pitch, and you should know the issues that investors will have. So, be prepared to answer the questions, period. A smart way to address this is understand why your startup will fail. Don't just scratch the surface on this one. Dig deep. For example, in our case, there were 2 key concerns investors had. The first was, could we build a team? The second was, we had a long tail business model relying on lots of customers. We knew these questions would come up, so we were prepared to answer them. You need to do the same thing. Next, let's move to number 8 on the list. Number 8, don't blow the list at once. One of my favorite CEOs that I've ever worked with is Greg. He's smart, has integrity, and is absolutely fanatical about his startup. Greg was telling me about concerns his investors had because he hadn't raised his funding yet. But Greg had just started raising his funding 2 weeks earlier. It didn't make any sense to me until Greg told me that they were meeting with 8 investors a day. That's insane. That means they met with 80 investors in over 2 weeks. And it's a recipe for disaster. Each pitch you do is emotionally draining. There's no way you will be at your best if you're doing 8 meetings a day. And you can't make any adjustments to your pitch because the meetings are too close together. Instead, you should meet with at most 10 to 20 investors in one group. And you should have maybe 2 meetings per day at most. Then get feedback, adjust your pitch, and do it again. Next, let's move to number 9 on my list. Number 9, have all the stupid stuff ready. One of the ways you can steal defeat from victory is not being ready to handle various investor requests at the right time. Here's a simple list of the things you'll need. Number 1, a data room, including your pitch deck, financial model, cap table, traction metrics, incorporation documents, IP assignments, customer contracts, and anything else investors may ask for. Number 2, a Delaware C corporation. That's what you need to be. Number 3, a startup attorney, preferably someone experienced with venture deals. Number 4, a cap table that is up to date, clean, and clearly shows ownership and employee equity. Number 5, founder agreements completed. This should include vesting schedules, IP assignments, roles and responsibilities. Number 6, a financial model with 3 to 5 year projections, clear assumptions that are tied to your growth narrative. Number 7, traction metrics. This should include revenue, users, retention, CAC, long-term value, and whatever is relevant to your business. Number 8, a product demo. Number 9, a detailed competitive landscape showing the strengths, weaknesses, and how you're different. And number 10, there's one more after this, customer user references. Investors will want to speak to users directly. And number 11, a bonus one here, team bios or resumes. The more prepared you are, the faster things go and the less momentum is lost. Now let's move to number 10 on our list. Number 10, manage the process like high-level sales. Because guess what? It is high-level sales. You can use a simple CRM tool like Pipedrive, or you can use a spreadsheet to manage the deal flow. When you're talking to lots of investors at once, having a process and a system to manage it will keep you moving forward quicker. Trust me on this one. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. Have a forcing function if you can. Ideally, you need a way to get investors to have a sense of urgency or a fear of missing out on your deal if you can. Sometimes this happens naturally. Many times, you're lucky to just get one term sheet. However, if you're seeing that multiple investors are truly excited about your company and they seem to be moving towards giving you a term sheet, then you want to create a deadline of when you will be accepting term sheets. For example, you can set the deadline at the end of the month, and magically, you'll get your offers right about the end of the month. The great thing about this approach is you now can evaluate multiple offers at once. But there's a word of warning here. Only use this tactic if you truly believe you'll get multiple offers. Now, I have 3 more things for you today. First, if you want to work with me on your startup, then just scan this QR code. Second, you can use my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Scan the QR code to get yours for free. And third, join my free group of startup CEOs, Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focused on growing their startups and raising funding for their startups. Scan the QR code to join. And if you want help fixing your pitch, then just watch this free 20-minute training. All you have to do is just click that button right over there. And I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.